It's such another beautiful time that the Lord has given unto us to have this discussion again. I'm so excited for us to continue with tough love. No retreat, no surrender. My name is Kanjagua from Marriage Bliss, and I'm so excited that we're having this journey with you so that we see the restoration of marriages and relationships back to where God originally wanted them to be. Last time we were able to talk about the signs of problems, and I'm excited because of the advancement that we are having, the growth that we are having, and just the understanding. You see, it's one thing to understand, and once you start understanding where the problem is, we are able to move on. I've been in the medical field. I've worked in the medical field for about 6 years now, and I have learned one thing. Every doctor starts by diagnosis. Before you even get to what needs to be done for you, before we get to what drug needs to be prescribed for you, the first and most important thing is for us to understand what is really ailing you. Where is the problem? And this is what we are trying to find out. For all our marriages, we are trying to look at where does the problem come from? Where can we pinpoint the problem? Sometimes you're not able to really pinpoint where the problem is, but you can tell this is where it is all beginning from. This is where it is all stemming from. And you see, once you get the symptoms, you're able to say, this is where I think is the problem. And this is how best I believe we can work on the problem. So last time, we worked on the signs of the problem. And today I want us to look at the three kinds of troubled marriages. The three kinds of troubled marriages. I know we have been taught, we have seen different people talking about different kinds of marriages, and the kinds of marriages that we have learned are the disturbing marriages, the working marriages, and all that. But today I want us to look at the three kinds of troubled marriages, because the only way we can understand how to save these marriages is when we know that they're actually troubled, and then we also understand which are these three kinds. And I know people ask themselves, is my marriage really struggling? Am I having problems with my marriage? And once you answer this question, you can only answer it by two questions, two more follow-up questions. And you see, every doctor always asks you, so what is the symptom? What are you feeling? Are you feeling a headache? And then there's a follow-up if there's anything that comes after the headache. Maybe are you having fever? Are you having upset of the stomach, or are you having this and that? And it helps the doctor to also understand where the problem is. Today you are the doctor for your own marriage, and for you to understand whether your marriage has a problem or not, then you have to ask these two questions. Number one, how is your marriage struggling? Once you understand the how, then you're able to understand why. Once you understand the how, you're able to understand why. And then the second question that is very critical is, what can I do about it? Because again, we are not just exposing where the problem is. We don't just want to expose where the problem is, and then after that, there's nothing we do after that. We want to expose the problem and find a solution. And this is what I always say. Every marriage is unique in its own nature. Every marriage is new. Every marriage is different. Every marriage has its own dynamics. And there is no day that I can put the solution for one marriage into another and it fits perfectly. Perfectly means there is no template for every marriage. There is no cut out cloth for every marriage. Every marriage is different. There's no one universal way of dealing with every marriage. So I have worked with different people. I've worked with men that are already established. I have worked with people that are not established. I have worked with people who do not even know they had a problem. And after realizing where the problem is, it gives us a lot of light, and just making sure that we have brought out where the problem is, rooted it out, and cleared that area so that healing happens for this particular people. So number one, the first type of troubled marriage is the we are unhappy, but we are willing to work on it kind of marriage. We know we are unhappy. We know we have a problem, but we are willing to work on it. And that is the first and most beautiful kind of marriage, because once you understand there is a problem and you're willing to work on that problem, to solve that problem. You see, you're not working on it so that you expose the other person. You're not working on it so that you seem as if you're the good one. You're working on it to find a solution for that marriage. So the marriage is not doing well, but it has not taken a serious or damaging action. There is nobody that is shouting at one another. There is nobody that is screaming. There is nobody that has done anything that is very serious to the relationship, but you are willing to work on it. Number two is that the marriage in this category is unhappy, but experiencing no outrageous or deeply harmful behavior. At this particular time, you realize the marriage has a problem. Yes, that is one. We accept we have a problem, but there's no outrageous, there's no outburst, there's no harmful way that we have expressed ourselves with. And you see, this kind of marriage that we are unhappy but willing to work on it kind of marriage has 4 categories in it. And I want us to look at these 4 categories, because you will realize, you will be shocked that you're actually in one category, but you have never realized, you have never taken the time to look at it closely. You have never taken the time to understand that actually we are having a problem. And yes, we are willing to work on it. Maybe we have been brushing a lot of things down the drain, and we are saying, for me, I am continuing as well as possible. I am moving on with life. There's nothing that is stopping me and all that. But then you need to understand that, yes, I am unhappy, but I am willing to work on it. The first one in this category of the we are unhappy but willing to work on it, the first category is we are just okay. Have you ever sat with someone and the first thing they tell you when you ask, so how is your marriage? We are fine. We are okay. We are fair. I know we are mediocre to some extent. I know we are hiding so many things, but we are comfortable. With where we are comfortable. We don't struggle. We don't call each other names and all that. We feel like we are stable. We are secure. I know we don't tell each other we love one another. I know we don't express the passion. The passion is not there, but we still love one another. But yes, the thrill is gone. Yes, the love is out of the door, and there's so much that is happening in between. But we still are there. Yes, we are okay, as we don't have a big problem. When you compare yourself with so many other marriages, then you realize, by the way, we are okay. There are people who are struggling. There are people who actually need this solution. And you always tell yourself, by the way, for me, I don't think there's a problem. I don't think there's much that should be done. I believe there's that gap that came. I believe that the passion is not there. I believe that the love is not there anymore. But I know that I am just fine. We are just fine. So the marriage is based on commitment and routine and not intimacy. This kind of marriage is commitment and it is routine. You see, we know that I will wake up in the morning because I am a wife. I will make breakfast because I'm a husband. I will go fetch for money. Then we will come back in the evening. The first question is, umeshinda fiti? You okay? Good. I'm also okay. I've been well. So you go take a shower. You come eat dinner. You go back to sleep. Maybe at one point you will have sex. Maybe at one point you will tell one another you love one another. But we're just okay. And there's not much that we want to talk about. We are not sweethearts anymore. We don't do the lovey-dovey things. Sex is there, but it is just there. It is just another routine. It is just another activity that we are doing in the marriage. But it is on a scale of 5 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, sorry, on a scale of 1 to 10, we are at a 5, or maybe we are at a 4. And we are working on our careers. We are building ourselves on our careers. We are taking care of the kids if there are any. We are doing the household duties, the things that we are supposed to do in the house. We are paying the bills. We are not being locked out. We are not sleeping hungry. We are doing all that. Then we visit our families once in a while. Is it exciting? No, it is not exciting, but it is predictable. I can tell that my husband will come in the evening. He will come, get into the house, remove his shoes from the door, then remove his socks when he sits down. Then I will request him to go and take a shower, or we will argue for him to take a shower. Then he'll go take a shower, come, we will eat, and it is just the normal cliche conversation. Then after that, we will go to bed, and after a few minutes, he will touch me and ask me if I'm sleeping, and then we will start having sex, and in the next 2 minutes, we will be done, and nobody will talk to one another, and everyone looks on their sides, and they sleep, and there's no big deal. These are the characters of the we are okay marriage, and you don't feel as if there's something that is big, even though you are unhappy, and even though you are terribly unhappy. There's nothing beautiful that is happening, but at the end of the day, you still don't have a bad marriage. According to your assessment, it is not bad. I know that maybe at one point we will go out for dinner, and then after this dinner, we will have another dinner after 3 weeks. We are just fine. It is just us. This is who we are. And I came to just shed light on this, that being okay with an okay marriage is not okay. Being okay with an okay marriage is not okay, because you need to understand that marriage was made to make you better. The original idea of God is that marriage should bring out the good in you. It should make you even become much better. So if you don't change your marriage, if you're in this kind of marriage, if you don't change that marriage very quickly, then it will get to a place where you will start struggling. It will get to a place where now you will graduate from the we are okay marriage to the next category of marriage. And it becomes very difficult for you to take it backwards than it is to take it forward. That before you can step back to the we are okay marriage, and then we are excellent and we are working on it and it is beautiful, then you would rather work on it when you're still at the we are okay marriage than wait until you have moved on and things have become worse, and then that time you want to start working on your marriage. Number 2 category that is in the we are unhappy but we are willing to work on it kind of marriage is the we are not okay kind of marriage. You have accepted, you have sat down with your spouse, you have agreed, by the way, we are having a problem, and you see, it is okay not to be okay. It is okay. It is a good place to begin from. It is a good place to say, this is where we are, and you are willing to work on this thing. We want it to work. We want it to become the most beautiful marriage that we know. We want to become a role model to people that are outside there. We want to work with people. And the first important thing that you need to do is to accept that we are not okay, but we are willing to work on it. We are not okay means that no one has made a move for divorce. Be clear that yes, we are not okay, but we don't want to leave one another. I don't want you to leave. You don't want me to leave. I know we are having our own problems, but we don't want to get to a place where we are divorcing. Divorce has not come up as a statement. It has not been brought up as anything that is something that we should be scared about. So characteristic number one of the we are not okay kind of marriage, and I will encourage us as we are talking about this, as we continue just giving the characteristics, you can check that box and tell yourself, by then this is where we are, by then this is where we have been, and we this is where we have gotten to, and this is how we are helping one another. So the first characteristic of the we are not okay marriage is we are both unhappy. I am unhappy. My wife is unhappy. The marriage is unhappy. And there's nothing much that we are doing. The feelings, characteristic number two, the feelings of love are greatly diminished. That's the feelings of the love I had towards my wife, the love I had towards my spouse is quickly going down. And I can tell it because I am the one that used to love her. I am the one that used to gift her. I am the one that used to give things to her. And now I can tell you for a fact there is a problem, because the love that I used to give, the love that I used to receive is now greatly going downward. Then there are more negatives than positives in this relationship that you will understand. You will tell yourself there are more problems. I had one of my good friends say, I don't want peace, I want problems. And sometimes it looks like a beautiful statement until you get into marriage. You want peace, you don't want problems. And you see, the moment you realize that what you are identifying more is the problem more than you are identifying the good things, the positives. If all you can tell about yourself is you see, our marriage is not working very well, you see, my husband did not do, you see, my wife does not do, you see, she does not do like every other person, you see, I am forced to do some things because she does not do, or I am forced to do some things because she does or he doesn't do. And you see, this is a kind of relationship where the negatives are more than the positives. I would like to pause here even before we continue and ask us to just take a piece of paper and write down the beautiful things you love about your spouse. You see, it is one thing to speak about them, and it's a different thing to just actually sit down and think and write down the first 10 things that come to mind about your spouse. That's a good assignment, that you sit down and tell yourself, today let me assess my spouse. Let me just write down things that I think about them. If 50% or even 40 or even 30% of those things that you write down are not good things or positive things, then I will tell you for a fact, you are in the we are not okay kind of marriage, because you realize that it is just the negatives that are coming out. There is nothing positive that is coming out. Everything that is coming out is actually on the negative side more than the positive. It does not mean, again, that when you start writing down and you have all the positives that this person is doing really well, it is just maybe that you have activated one side of that person. But a good balanced person has issues on their own, has problems of their own, and they are willing to work on it. That is a balanced relationship. Number 4 characteristic of where we are not okay kind of marriage is that you are often irritated by your spouse's annoying habits and weaknesses. Someone told me this when I was getting married, that the thing that makes you most excited in a person before you get married makes you angry when you get married. The thing that you love most about a person before you get married is the thing that you will hate most about the same person after you get married. Let me give you a good example. When we were getting married, my wife was strong-willed. She knew what she wanted. She went for what she wanted. She understood what she wanted. And that made me so excited. And I was telling myself, this is actually a beautiful thing, that she knows what she wants. I don't have to push her to get to where she needs to get, because she understands this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I am expected to be. And you see, when we got into marriage, the first 2-3 years of our marriage, it was time for us to now have power struggles, because the thing I loved about her, the firmness, the voice, the nature of her speech, the understanding of her capabilities, the understanding of where she wants to go. It was so exciting before we got married, until we got married. And you see, when we got married, she brought that nature into the marriage. And this is what she did. She used to wake up and give me responsibilities that she would want me to do. Like, for example, and I know those that are married to firstborns, this is something that you have gone through. She wakes up in the morning, taps you and tells you, you will be washing the house as I wash the utensils. Or you have just come from work and she tells you, you will be washing the child as I prepare dinner. And you see, it is something that is coming so automatically because it is something that she is used to doing. As a firstborn, that has been a responsibility, just making sure that everything is done and is done in an orderly manner. So whatever you used to love becomes an irritating factor when you have gotten into the marriage. And you see, personally, I also was a quiet person. And this is what my wife always used to tell me. I love the way you are silent, because then I will have a conversation with someone. Then we got into marriage. And then she gives me a problem and I have nothing to say and I am silent. The same silence that she loved was now irritating her. And she would ask me, so why are you not giving me a solution? Until we got to that place where now we realize these are the small irritations, the small annoying habits that are coming up. The weaknesses that I have are quickly coming up. And if I don't deal with them, then I will be dealing with a very big problem in the marriage. So that is characteristics number 4, that you get irritated. You are often irritated by your spouse's annoying habits and weaknesses. Number 5, you are having more and more conflicts, usually over petty issues. You see, it is one thing to get angry at one person. It is one thing to get mad at a person. It is one thing to be very irritated and you don't want them to come close to you. You don't want them to do this and this. But it is a totally different thing when it comes to the small things, the petty issues, that you get very mad over something that is very small, something that is very minute, causes you to blow up. It causes you to hate this person. It causes you not to even want to sit around them. You don't even want to see them because of the small things. And you see, these small things, the Bible says, catch me the little foxes that spoil the vine. It is the little foxes that spoil the vine. It is not the big foxes. It is not the big issues that end marriages. It is the small, minute things that were not dealt with in the first place that cause marriages to break down. And number 6, you don't have deep, intimate, and revealing conversations. We said about the We Are Okay marriage that we don't have deep conversations. We don't have conversations concerning ourselves. And the truth of the matter, even in the We Are Not Okay kind of marriage, we don't have communication. We don't have conversations. We don't talk about what we want. We don't talk about who we are. We don't talk about where we are going. It is time that we start having this kind of conversation. So number 7, you rarely go out on romantic dates. I know I am stepping on big toes, but I'm just trying to help you to understand where you are, so that when we start now walking the journey of bringing healing to our marriages, when we start walking the journey of saying, now we are in our tough love. It is difficult to love. It is hard to love, but nobody is retreating. Nobody is surrendering. We have to build on this. It is going to be work. It is going to cause us to be tired. It is going to cause us to walk a journey, but we will push. We will want to become that which God has called us to become. So you rarely go on romantic dates. You see, dates are times for you to collect data. Everybody changes with the season. The time that you start dating, it is a time where you want to understand, who is this person. I believe that this is my belief, that even now there are very many marriages that sometimes we think that are working, that need to get to that place, back a step back, to stop and just say, by the way, we need to talk about this thing. We need to have a date. We need to sit down and just reevaluate our marriage. reevaluate where we are. So you rarely go on dates. This is you we are talking about. You rarely go on romantic dates. Maybe you go on dates when there is a problem with the kids. Maybe you go on dates when there is a problem with water and electricity, but you rarely go on romantic dates. Number 8 is you are not playful with each other. You don't play with each other. You see, Pastor Sue said that the only game that people have been left with is the game of God, game ya God, which is sex. And that is the only thing that we think we should be playing about. One day, take an opportunity and start chasing your wife around the house. One day, do a pillow fight. Do something. Go out and just race. Go out and do something that will bring the joy, the restoration back to your marriage. And that is where you will realize, actually, I was having a problem. Number 9 is that sometimes you feel your kisses. You see, kisses are good when you're in marriage because they are a part of what you do on a daily basis. They ought to be a part of what you do on a daily basis. Either you are kissing romantically, or you're kissing for affection, you're kissing the forehead, you're kissing the cheeks, because they show a sense of love, a sense of romance. And you realize that your kisses have become stale. They have become forced, and they are pathetically weak. That the way you kiss your wife, the way you kiss your husband, it has become stale. It is just another activity, and it is a disgusting activity because it does not come with the affection that ought to be there. You feel like you're forced. It's because she said, when was the last time you kissed me? I am very mad because you don't do this, because you have never kissed me. And it becomes pathetic, and it becomes useless because it does not help you. Sex, number 10, is becoming sporadical, and it is more about meeting a biological need than about expressing love. Let us agree that sex is not about biology. Yes, biology is part of it, but sex is about expression of love. And it is a place where God allowed us to express our love fully, that we can show that this is how I love you. The way I take time to take care of my wife sexually, the way I take time to just have time with her, sometimes even not sexually but romantically, that I am taking care of her needs. That shows that I am not doing it for biological reasons. I am not just fulfilling the biological need, but also I am expressing my love. Number 11, you begin to lead separate lives. You realize that you are living separate lives, that there is nothing that brings you together except the kids, the house, the responsibilities, the roles, the monies that we need, and all these things. That this is the only thing that brings us together. That now I am having my own kinds of friends, and my wife has her own kinds of friends. I have my own way of leisure. She has her own way of leisure. I have my own way of enjoying time. She has her own way. And you see, this is where people get, and they start saying, let us agree to disagree. And we are living separate lives. Number 12, you are avoiding each other. You have started avoiding each other. And sometimes it is not something that you have put in your mind. It is not something that you are excited about, but you find yourself, you quickly want to push that person away. Sometimes you realize, I don't have a hurry of going home. I don't want to enjoy that time. Maybe when we were starting the marriage, I used to go home immediately after 5, but now it is already 9, it is 10. I'm still seated with friends in a hotel, taking tea, and maybe the tea that is in my house is much better, and I'm trying to avoid my wife, and my wife is there at home saying, thank God he's not even coming early. Thank God he's not even here. He gives me the time to be alone. And you see, this again just shows you that there is a problem and we are not okay. Number 13, which I believe is the last one, is that your relationship does not give you energy. It actually sucks the energy out of you. Your relationship does not give you energy. Every time you think about that other person, you don't get excited, you get drained, because the relationship is drawing from you but not giving to you. You see, the most important thing is when you are the one that is giving into the relationship. You are getting also out of the relationship. You are enjoying giving into the relationship because you are giving into something that gives back. There is nobody that invests in something that does not give back to them. And if it does not give back to you, then it is of no use. It does not help you. It does not help anyone. It becomes very difficult. You're staying together because of commitment and because of children. That you are there because of the children, you are there because of commitment. You don't want to be there, but you have to be there. There's no other way that you can do. There's no other way that you can take care of the responsibilities that are there. You are not sure how much longer you can hold on. You are not sure if you will hold on any longer. And if you do, you're not sure that the results will be important. The results will be what you would want. You've once in a while thought about divorce. It is not something that is constantly in your mind, but once you have talked about a divorce, and maybe you even expressed it. Maybe you said, one day I would want a divorce. I think I would not want to stay with you. Maybe in the heat of the moment, either you are mad or you are excited and you said, I don't feel as if you're going to be together for very long. You see, that is a thought that has come to your mind, and things are happening in you that will cause you to shift your attention and all that. You begin to notice members of the opposite sex and you find yourself attracted to them. You start seeing people. You see, someone said that whenever you get to the hotel and you ask for a meal out of the menu, that does not mean that you cannot see whatever is in the menu. And you see, people are seeing whatever is in the menu. People are seeing other people. People are seeing other men. They are seeing other ladies. They are seeing how excited they would have been. And you see, there is always that comparison of, I wish he was the one that married me, because maybe he would be pulling the door for me. Maybe he would be pulling the seat for me. Maybe he would be coming with chocolate and flowers. And you are here, you're not doing anything, and you start fantasizing of that other person. And that what you don't realize is that unless you are totally committed to following God's direction, you are an affair waiting to happen. Unless you are totally committed to what God has said, unless you're totally committed to what God wants, then you are an affair that is waiting to happen. Your marriage is not dead yet, but it is in ICU and on life support. We are not okay. That is the kind of marriage that you're talking about. We are not okay. There is a problem. And once you find the problem, then you can be able to find a solution. Most people are going to counselors. Most people are going to where the people that are asking for money from them are going to. And you see, these people are pushing the agenda that continue coming because there is an income that is coming to me. But for us, we are doing this so that you see where the problem is. You see, it is one thing to be given a solution, and it is a totally different thing to find a solution for yourself according to the problems that you have, and they become more effective for you to understand better what needs to happen. The third category of the we are unhappy but we are willing to work on it kind of marriage is that we are miserable kind of marriage. I know it does not sound like a good thing. It does not sound like a statement that needs to come from a Christian person's mouth. But I believe, let me tell you the truth, sometimes just being real with yourself, being real with your marriage gives you the best results that you need. So we are miserable kind of marriage. Your marriage has suffered a complete breakdown. It is actually like practically dead. It is not even there. It is miserable. It is misery after misery. There are no feelings of love left. You are there saying, I don't think I can love this person again. I don't think I am willing to love this person again. Even if they change, I don't think I will be willing to love this person again. And for me, I love calling them dead marriage walking. Dead marriage walking. That the marriage is practically dead, but you're still moving around. The second characteristic of the we are miserable kind of marriage is that you want out. By any chance you want to leave, by any chance you don't want to be there, or your spouse wants out, it's not like there's any other option, and they pose as if there is nothing else we can do about it. It is either we are out or we are out. Divorce has been mentioned probably so many times. It has been mentioned, and maybe even sometimes you find this person has tried or has filed for a divorce or has started the process of separation. Maybe this is where you are. Then we are miserable kind of marriage. One spouse may have uttered those 5 horrible words. The 5 horrible words that men and women utter when they have a discord in their marriage. I don't love you anymore. And it is hurting. It is like a sword that enters through the heart and it pierces the heart, and it is so difficult to swallow those words. Maybe one of the spouses has even given that, even with the filing of a divorce and separation, and just talking about all this, and then you are leading largely separate life. That your lives have not even, they don't even have a place where they are merging. You see, in the previous one, there are times that you come together, there are times that you go out together. Yes, they are not as often as should be, but at least they are there. For the we are miserable kind of marriage, you don't have time that you are together. You lead largely separate lives. Number 6 is that there is very little interaction. That these kind of people, these two kind of people everyone lives in their own cocoon, everyone lives in their own direction, and we barely have time to interact. Then you see no hope. You see no hope for your marriage. It is just a matter of time, according to you, for it to end. It is just a matter of time. An affair may be happening or close to happen. We know sometimes we try and as much as possible to cover it up and pray that it does not show up, but an affair is already happening. There's already someone else in the picture that needs to be addressed, that needs to be removed from the picture. You realize you don't have, you realize you have to do something, and you have to do it quickly, or you'll either become more miserable or you get divorced. It is either that you become more miserable in this case, or you get divorced. And I will encourage you, don't allow yourself to get into this space. Don't allow yourself to get into such a space when we have people that you can sit down with, people that you can share with, people that you can talk about. And at this juncture, I would want just to mention there are numbers that will be on the screens, and you can reach out. You can talk to somebody. Somebody will help you out. It is all about being truthful to yourself, being truthful to what is happening, and you agree to tell yourself, by the way, we are miserable and we have a problem. The fourth category of we are unhappy but willing to work on it is it's all about the kids kind of marriage. It is all about the kids. For you, your marriage is not about the two of you, it is about the kids. Whether the kids have eaten, whether the kids are okay. And we have not gotten to the place where we talk about the two of us. We got married because of the kids. The kids came and we are staying married because of them. But now the unfortunate bit is that the kids will leave and leave us there, and we will not live together with them. So it's all about the kids. Since the birth of your first child, your marriage has never been the same. That you can assess, you can tell, before I got my first child, everything was going okay, everything was fine, and we were enjoying life. And we used to go for dinner dates, we used to go for outings. But now that the child came, there is so much change that has taken place that you even wonder, you even ask yourself, so are we together or are we not together? So you went from soulmates to super parents. Now you're no longer soulmates, you're no longer couples, you're no longer together, you are super parents. The product of your love has become the central focus of your love. The product of what brought you together is now becoming quickly the focus, the central focus of your love. So you are mom and dad 24/7. that there is no time you are a husband, there's no time you are a wife, there's no time you play the roles of a husband and a wife. All you focus on is that you are mom and you are dad. The only thing that you talk about is diapers, toys, strollers, pacifiers, family vacations. These small things that have come into the family have altered the entire system of the family. That when you used to spend time with your wife is when you're using to play with the kids. When you used to talk to your wife is when you're using to read stories for the kids. When you used to bond with your wife and just talk about the all nothings and everythings is now when you're doing homework. When you used to take your wife out and just have a nice dinner and sit down and just enjoy life is when now there are school trips or trips that go to see the family and all that, and it's all about the children. And you see the time that you used to watch a movie together is now children's TV time. And you see it boils down to where the child is. And you see most of the people will not complain, most of the people will not talk about it because it is about the kids. The kids do not defend themselves, so I have to defend them as a parent. Your kids have become more important than your marriage. It is error when your kids are more important than your marriage. Somebody said that the kids are visitors that visit for 24 years. They are visitors that visit for 20 years. And after the 20 years, they will leave and go, and they will leave you together. There's something that as we move forward, we will talk about that is called the empty nest, where you have taken care of the kids, and at the end of the day, they are all gone, and you are left together as an empty nest. So build on something. You see, every bird during the season when there is plenty, every bird gathers for itself. And once they gather for themselves, then after, when it comes to the winter season, they have something to go back to. And some of us, the biggest problem we have is that we have invested nothing in the marriage. We have invested everything in the children. And when the children go and they are married and they have their own marriages and enjoy their own marriages, we want to follow them to make sure that they help us because we helped them. And that is error. Most of your time, your energy and your attention goes to the kids. Most of your joy comes from the kids. That you enjoy better when you're with the kids more than when you're with your spouse. Let me take a cup of water because it is getting hot. You are making the big mistake of thinking that parenting is the most important thing that you can do. That you think in yourself that parenting is everything that you can do. But the truth is, loving each other is more important than taking care of your kids. Because the moment you love one another, you are pouring into a cup that will be able to overflow to the kids. Sometimes you're not able to give our kids the best. Sometimes we don't give our kids good things. Sometimes we don't love our kids the right way, because the biggest problem is where you're supposed to receive the love, where you're supposed to refill in your life so that you're able to push on and continue giving to them. We did not go back to that place where we are refilling. Kids are important, but they are number two. They are visitors in the marriage. Number one is the marriage. When your marriage takes a backseat to anyone or anything except the Lord, then it suffers great harm. Your marriage is dying and you may not even realize. That is where the problem is. Your marriage might be dying and you don't even understand. You don't even know it. There is a problem and you don't even know it. I know that these are deep truths. These are things that we have seen in our marriages. These are things that we can tell. We have seen in other people's marriages, and they are important to note, because today you are the doctor. You are the one writing down the clinical notes for your own marriage. You are the one assessing your own marriage. They say that marriage is an institution that you get into and you ought to grow. And if you, in any institution, if you do not have an assessment kit, then you will never know if you're going in the same direction. You will will never know if you're going in the right direction. So if you're there and you would want to talk to anybody, the numbers on the screen will help you out. If you want to speak to anyone, tell them what you're going through. If you need to talk to somebody about your marriage, it is high time that we start talking. It is a high time that we raise that alarm. It is a high time that we change the narrative and the voice that is in the atmosphere. Marriages are working. I know that we have highlighted just one part of it. We have two more that we will talk next time. We have talked about the we are not okay kind of marriage, we are okay kind of marriage, we are miserable kind of marriage, and it is all about the kids kind of marriage. And all these are just about the we are okay, but we are willing to work on it. And when once you realize where the problem is, you are able to know the direction that you need to take. So thank you very much for being together with us. Thank you very much for tuning in to the end of this episode. And I believe that we are continuing to help one another. If you can get couples that need this word, if you can get couples that need this and just have an assessment and just look at where their lives are, and if you have friends that you can talk to so that we come together, if you have this, if you have a get together of the families that are around you, and you can allow us to come and just speak to you, we are here for that reason. We are restoring God's order in matters marriage and responsibility. My name is Kanjagua. This is Marriage and Bliss. Tough love, no retreat, no surrender. See you next time, same place, same time, and God will bless you. Amen.